Good day, Mr. Chinedu Michael.
Good day, viewers.
This is Nigeria News Center. Let us look at the sentencing of Idris Olarewaju Okuneye, popularly known as Bobrisky. In what looked like a surprise, he admitted before the judge today that he is a male, as against all the impression of the people before now. And the man, Bobrisky, has been sentenced to 6 months in jail without option of fine. What does it portend for offenders of the law, particularly naira abuse?
Well, like I said before, I think his fundamental human rights was abused by the government, and secondly, the way and manner of which that issue was accelerated, create a lot of doubt. It points to a direction that the EFCC themselves seems to have nothing to do. They don't seem have any work at this time to do. So they were just looking at anything that around, they can use to just keep themselves busy. Where we have scores of looted billions hiding in different places in the pockets of these people they call civilians. We're talking about naira mutilation and abuse. What do you mean by that? A lot of them, most governors, most politicians are guilty of the same offense. If actually there's nothing behind the arrest and of course the accelerated prosecution to the extent that he has been handed 6 months in jail without um,
Option of fine.
option of fine. So Nigerian judiciary, can be this reasonable, when it comes to an ordinary man on the street. So, but the fact still remains that it has been quite a bad influence, to the in the social media and of course in the social circle of Nigeria social life. But Idris Ogunoye Olariwaju, popularly known as Bobrisky, of course, and so many times he has had a bad experience in the past, and that was pushed him, to those who have been using him or her, as the case may be, to achieve certain social and monetary interest, at that level. So, but a lot of people wake up, that there might be more behind um, the run after of Idris Oguneye Olariwaju, Bobrisky, over the issue of naira mutilation and of course the abuse of naira. So for me, that was too hasty, and I don't think I still feel property should be done not only to the vulnerables in the society, but what about these people that we see on daily basis that throws money around and match on it? Even the politician does, even till tomorrow. So what have the EFCC got to say about that? Perceived justice anyway. But as it stands, we know that Bobrisky is a bad influence in the social circle when you talk about Nigeria, and to an extent, everybody has their right to way of life.
Now, looking at what law tends to do, particularly when there's such prosecution, to act as deterrent to others, do you think this is enough? This will actually deter Nigerians, or rather will be naira mutilators in the future?
But we're seeing it every day, even as it was undergoing trial. We are still seeing people on social media, flying the so-called naira, up and down.
But this is the first time we'll be seeing somebody being convicted on this basis.
That is what I'm telling you, that his conviction and persecution as it stands now is very suspicious, because we don't know what EFCC tend to achieve with that, or possibly Bobrisky himself, may have fallen out with certain people who have been behind her, pushing her for one interest or the other, using her for one financial goal or the other, and that is why maybe they decided to, of course, use certain means, to get her, to whip her into the line in case she's trying to, deviate from what she has entered by herself. He has lived a certain life some time ago in Abuja, and we have seen a lot of things, which he has come later on to confess about his personality. But unfortunately, agreed, he's a bad influence. Of course, yes, that's the fact. But he has a way of, using those bad influence now to put food or to generate money for herself.
Now, let us look at the man Bobrisky himself. Were you surprised when you heard that he admitted being the man before the judge?
I don't think he has been.
Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised because I have watched previous interviews, or where she, or sorry, he, you understand? Well, we have to differentiate between the Idris Oguneye Olariwaju and the Bobrisky aspect of it. The Bobrisky aspect of Idris Oguneye Olariwaju, you understand, is the is the commerciality of his personality. That is Bobrisky. But coming to the other angle of it, which he will see the Bobrisky as being female. That is the commercial aspect. I think the reasoning, of her coming into this kind of character, or personality, is left for her to actually define whether she's being pushed by the circumstances, or she's being influenced by one factor or the other. But at the end of the day, you see, the Bobrisky, which is the woman, going along with Idris Oguneye Olariwaju, which is the man. You understand? So what they actually sentence is not the Bobrisky, that is the female. What they sentence is that the man, Idris Olariwaju Oguneye, abused the naira.
But were you surprised that the judge started asking Bobrisky whether he was a male
I'm
or
not
female?
interested in anything that has to do with Nigeria judiciary. They are just a disgrace. When you talk about Nigeria, you can see, without even being told, even in your personal this thing, you discover that Nigerian judiciary is in demise. They are dead. They are only being run by what, at the end of the day, they are able to put on their hand. Since the issue of politics of 2023, we saw how the judiciary messed up everywhere. Destroyed the fabrics of democracy and democratic principles in Nigeria. So you're talking about judiciary, whether a lot of people will see it as a fair hearing, or they're not going to see it as a fair hearing coming from the judicial angle. Personally, I feel that the judiciary, they don't know what they are doing. If they know what they are doing at this point in level, you understand, this kind of matter should be thrown to to a welfare, maybe to one NGO to handle, to see whether they can rehabilitate, the Bobrisky from being Bobrisky to, of course, Idris Olariwaju. It's not the case of I think it does tell you how funny our judiciary has become. This lady you are seeing, or this man you are seeing, she needs rehabilitation.
But let us look
I'm
at
not sentencing her. You don't should
that
look into what have pushed her
the
to that.
prison itself is a correctional facility. But let us look at
Not in Nigeria.
okay. Let
not
us look
in
at
Nigeria.
because you alluded to the fact.
The fact is that it's not in Nigeria. Please.
But let me come in. You alluded to the fact that he is a bad influence. But you cannot take away the fact that Bobrisky is a social media influencer. Whether negatively
He also
or not,
makes money. Listen,
I'm not disputing that.
We also look at the commercial aspect of it.
There's another
She's not using gun. She's not like Boko Haram. She's not like politicians who have destroyed destinies. That's a fact. And no, the judiciary is not going after them. Nobody's going after them.
Okay, now, don't forget, there is recently Bobrisky was in the news when he won an award. I'm saying he because himself admitted that he's a maid today. And recently, she was being addressed as Mama of Lagos, Mother of Lagos or so. And some people have alluded to the fact that the authorities perhaps were not at peace or were not comfortable with that award, that may be the reason they want to get at her. And perhaps all her activities on social media, there is no law to use to prosecute her, that may be the reason. Because if you look at the offenses for which she's being convicted, they were committed in 2002 and 2003. None of them were were committed in this year 2004. Could it be that the authorities were not comfortable with his way of life?
That's what I'm telling you, that the FCC all suddenly become very redundant. The EFCC themselves, they become very redundant. They don't seem to have anything to hold on to. They don't seem to know how they're going to, they're just looking for anything to just, where we have too many corrupt cases up and down. If a case that was committed over how many years back, it's not the issue that they just gave him award as a female. They gave award to the commercial aspect of being of Idris Oguneye Olarewaju. We should understand what this lady is trying, the philosophy of his personality, and how he was able to move out from a certain level, to create a certain attention, for himself.
Okay, now, if we are looking at the hasty nature of this judgment, don't forget that Bobrisky himself admitted that he is guilty. Upon that, there was no point waiting for what they needed to do is to give judgment. As judgment was given, sentencing followed. Do you think the authorities got it wrong?
That, of course. Now that judgment, if you look at very well, he was not given a fair hearing. That is one.
No, what do you mean? No fair hearing.
That's what I'm saying. He was not given a fair hearing. Possibly he does not have access to lawyers that would have defended him. Secondly, he might be under duress. He might not know.
She admitted that he admitted that he was guilty.
We have seen so many cases like that in the police station where people will come in, and they will bring different people from different places, and they give government and force them to admit they are armed robbers. We have seen such things happen in Nigeria. You understand? We have seen people who are not armed robbers admitting that they are armed robbers under very mundane circumstances. So, if as the case may be, if she has admitted, then those ones that have been committing such thing, the same thing he committed, the same year, the same time, the same period, why are they not going after them? Why did they single out Bobrisky, to deal with? That's what I'm telling you.
But that is not a difference in court. No, it's perhaps committed an offense that Mr. B is being accused of. It's not excuse of Mr. B to start questioning why Mr. A was not arrested. Rather, it becomes of Mr. A, or yes, to defend himself. Or don't you think so?
No, they don't see. Justice should be seen to be done.
But the man has admitted that he's guilty.
Under what circumstances did he admit?
As a lighting exposed as Bobrisky, you think he do not know the meaning of the implication of saying I'm guilty?
Of that, the Bobrisky aspect of her is guilty of naira abuse, or the Idris Olarewaju aspect of him is guilty of abuse of naira. That's what we want to get. But as the case may be, since I wish that maybe at the end of the day, you move from being Bobrisky after he has served his death sentence, 6 months jail, 6 months. Then you move out from being Idris, maybe about to being Idris Olarewaju.
We understand that in Nigerian legal jurisprudence, after conviction of this nature, the person has right of appeal up to Supreme Court. So it is left for Idris Olarewaju to determine whether you want to pursue appeal or serve the jail term.
After he has served, or before, he cannot still appeal the judgment.
No, if you want to appeal the judgment, he can commence the appeal immediately.
Yes, that is what.
Once his legal team gets the judgment of the court,
that will be something we'll be waiting for to see her next line of legal response to that pronouncement.
Thank you very much, Mr.